Today I'm going to show you how to cut a senator top and trouser for a child. A big shout out to Mercy Favor. She hit me up in the comment section and she made a request for me to make a video on how to cut a senator top and trouser for a child. Maybe you have a child, a boy or a girl, and you want to make a very good outfit for that child. This is a video for you to learn how to cut a senator top and trouser for a child. Please like, share and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Yeah, see, we are getting a lot of views, but some of you are still not yet subscribed. So do me a favor, go to the channel and check to confirm if you've subscribed to the channel. If you've not subscribed, hit the subscribe button because that is the only way you can actually know when I upload a new video. Let's get into this video. Now this senator top and trouser is for a 12-year-old child. Now we have a shoulder of 14 inches, is a short sleeve, a sleeve length of 7 inches, a sleeve round of 9 inches, an armhole of 11 inches, a neck of 12 inches, a chest of 28 inches, and a top length of 20 inches. Now for the trouser, we have a trouser length of 25 inches, a waist of 20 inches, a lap of 16 inches, an ankle of 10 inches, and a hip of 26 inches. Now the first thing we're going to cut is the top. Now we're working with a top length of 20 inches. So what I'm going to do first, I'm going to take my fabric, I'm going to fold it into two this way. Now our top length is 20 inches, so I'm going to add 4 inches making 24. So I'm going to take the fabric by 2, I'm going to fold it by 24 inches. What we have here is 24 inches, as you can see. So now we're working with a chest of 28 inches. We are going to divide that 28 inches by 2. That will give us 14 inches. So I'm going to place my tape here. I'm going to place it at 14 inches. So that will be the allowance for the chest. But you know, I can't cut 14 inches here because there will be no sewing allowance. So I'm going to add 1 inch sewing allowance on both sides. That 1 inch is equivalent to 2 inches because we have 1 inch on this side and 1 inch on this other side. So I'm going to, instead of 14, which is the chest, I'm going to make it 16. So I'm going to place my 16-inch mark from this position down to this position. I'm going to place my 16 inches mark. I'm going to take my ruler, my straight ruler. I'm going to place it on my 16-inch mark. I'm going to draw a line connecting my mark from this position down to this upper position. So I'm going to open up the fabric like this. So I'm going to fold it like this. Then I'm going to turn it like this, making sure this other part meets this other side. So we have the front, which is this piece, then we have the back, which is this piece. So we're going to make the back longer than the front by 3 inches. As you can see, it's exactly 3 inches, so we are good. So now the next measurement so I'm going to take now is the neck measurement. We're working with a neck of 12, and the standard I use for calculating the measurement of the neck is the neck round divided by 4 plus 0.5 inches. If you want to get more information on the formula I use to actually cut the neck of a top, please check out my video, is displayed on the screen. So working with a neck round of 12 inches, so 12 inches divided by 4, that will give us 3 inches. 3 inches plus 0.5 inches, that will give us 3.5 inches. So I'm going to place my tape around this area. Our formula will give us 3.5 inches. The width of the neck will be that 3.5 inches divided by 2 because it's folded into 2. So when you open it up, it will give you the 3.5. So getting the width, we are going to divide that 3.5 inches divided by 2. That will give us 1 3/4 inches. I'm going to mark that 1 3/4 inches. So this is the width. So when you open this folded part up, it's going to give us that 3.5 inches. So now you know we left 3 inches allowance at the back part of the top. Now when we fold these 3 inches into the front part, it's going to give us 1.5 inch. Now that 1.5 inch when folded like this is going to take part of the neck. It's going to take 1.5 inch away from the neck measurement. So when I'm placing my tape, I'm going to take out that 1.5 inch away. Then I'm going to place my 3.5 inch. Now I'm going to curve the neck this way. I'm going to curve the neck this way. Then I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut. This is how to cut the neck. Now the next thing we're going to do is to slant the shoulder of the top. So now we're working with a shoulder of 14. We're going to divide that 14 by 2. So 14 divided by 2, that will give us 7 inches. So I'm going to place my tape here and mark my 7 inches. So it's from this 7-inch position, that's what we use to slant the top. So normally for adults, I usually slant the top of an adult by 2.5 inches. But for kids, for children, depending on how young or how old they are, I can slant the top by 1.5 to 2 inches. So since this is for a 12-year-old boy, I'm going to slant the top by 2 inches. So I'm going to place my tape here. I'm going to mark my 2-inch mark here. I'm going to take my ruler, then I'm going to place it around this area, then do my shoulder slant by 2 inch. If it's for someone maybe below 10, maybe 10, 9, 8, you can slant the top by 1.5 inch. I'm going to cut my slant position this way, the markings that I made. Okay, so now we've slanted the front part of the shoulder. So now I'm going to place my mark on I'm going to take up that 3 inches. I'm going to place my tape around this position, then I'm going to mark my 3 inches. From here, I'm still going to place my 3-inch mark here. This is to enable me to slant the back just the way I slanted the front. So I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut this back position that I slanted like this. You can draw a straight line. So now you're going to take the back, you're going to overlap the front with the back by 1/2 inch. I'm going to take my pressing iron, I'm going to press it down this way. Then I'm going to take my chalk and I'm going to mark this position of the front neck. So when I mark it, you can open it up this way, then mark that same position you marked on the front. You mark it this way, then you're going to take this one up. When you take this one up, now you're going to get the midpoint from this front neck position to this place. You are going to use your tape to get the midpoint. So from this position now, from here, I'm going to curve the neck like this, curve it down to meet with this mark I did here. So I'm going to curve it down like this. So this is how to cut the back neck. So I'm going to use my scissors and cut it on the curve like this, taking it down like this to this position. As you can see, the neck is well balanced. I'm going to place my shoulder measurement. We're working with a shoulder of 14. So 14 divided by 2, that will give me 7. So I'm going to add 1/2 inch allowance, sewing allowance. So now we're working with the armhole of 11 inches. So 11 inches divided by 2, that will give us 5.5. I'm going to place my tape and I'm going to mark my 5.5 inch here. Then I'm going to draw a straight line from the shoulder position down this way. Then I'm going to draw this straight line connecting this part like this. Then I'm going to go in by 1/2 inch at the midpoint. From this position to this position, I'm going to get the midpoint. Then I'm going to go in by 1/2 inch, placing it like this. To this point, you're going to curve it out like this. You're going to give a curve like this. I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to curve both the back and the front by 1/2 inch. Now, you know, I curved both the back and the front by 1/2 inch, but now I'm going to curve just the front by 1/2 inch. So I'm going to place my tape around this position, the midpoint of the armhole. I'm going to go in by 1/2 inch for just the front. For an adult, I usually curve it in by 1 inch. So since this is for a child, I'm going to curve it in by 1/2 inch. So I'm going to curve it in like this by 1/2 inch, curving just the front part of the top. So I'm going to place my tape at the shoulder position. At this position, I'm going to place it round like this to confirm the entire curve of the armhole. We have 8 inches here. This 8 inches will be very useful when I'm cutting the sleeve. So to cut the sleeve, I'm going to fold the fabric by 4. The essence of folding the fabric by 4 is because I want to cut both sleeves at the same time. So you know, I took the measurement of the armhole curve and it gave me 8 inches. When I want to fold the sleeve, I'm not going to fold it by 8 inches. I'm going to fold it by 7 inches. I'm taking out 1 inch from the folding of the sleeve. That's because if I fold it by 7 inches, after curving it is going to give me that 8 inches. Now we're working with a sleeve length of 7 inches. So that 7 inches, I'm going to add about 3 inches of allowance at the edge. So that will give me a total of 10 inches. So I'm going to mark my 10 inches. So I'm going to cut this off. We are going to determine our cap height. And the formula I use to get the cap height is the armhole divided by 4. So we're working with the armhole of 11. So 11 divided by 4, that will give us 2 3/4. So I'm going to place my 2 3/4 inch around this area. Then I'm going to mark. So I'm going to draw a straight line, connect it like this. Then from this midpoint of this straight line, I'm going to go out by 1/2 inch. So I'm going to place the tape. I'm going to go out 1/2 inch. Then I'm going to curve here now like this. Curve it to this position, then curve it this way to get my sleeve curve position like this. So now we're working with a sleeve round of 9 inch. 9 divided by 2, that will give us 4.5 inch. I'll add 1 inch allowance to that. That will give us 5.5. I'm going to place my 5.5 mark, and I'm going to curve it down to this position here. Now the last part I'm going to cut is our yoke. I'm going to fold this fabric by 2. Then I'm going to carry the back piece that I cut of the body, then I'm going to place it, align it this way. I'm going to curve here like this. This is the yoke. We're about to cut the trouser. Now the trouser we're about to cut for this child is a rope trouser. It can be either a rope or elastic or both. The first thing we're going to do, we're going to determine the trouser length of the trouser. You know, for a rope trouser, the upper part of the trouser is usually folded this way. This is where the rope enters or the elastic is fixed. So normally, if I want to take the trouser length of a rope trouser, I don't take the trouser length from this topmost part here. Instead, I have to leave some allowance out, because once this is folded, it's going to take away that allowance. I have to mark like 2 inches. This is the allowance for the folding where we insert our rope or elastic. Then from this 2-inch mark, that's where I will now take my trouser length measurement. So now I'm going to measure my 25 inches. So this is the point of the 25 inch. Then I'm going to add 3-inch allowance to this 25 inches. That will make 28 inches. This is the trouser length, then this is the allowance. To determine the length of the crouch, the formula I use is the hip divided by 4 plus 1 inch. So now we're working with a hip of 26 inches. 26 divided by 4, that will give us 6.5 inches, plus 1 inch, that will give us 7.5 inches. I'm going to start my measurement from this marking I did. So I'm going to measure my 7.5 inch. So the 7.5 inch mark is around here. So this is the crouch length. Next measurement we're going to take is our hip measurement. So we're working with a hip of 26 inches. We're going to divide our hip measurement by 4. So 26 inches divided by 4, that will give us 6.5 inches. So I'm going to place my tape around this area and measure my 6.5 inches. That will be around this position. So I'm going to draw the straight line this way like this. Now the next measurement we're going to take is our lap measurement. So we're working with a lap of 16 inches. So we're going to divide that 16 inches by 2. So 16 inches divided by 2, that will give us 8 inches. So I'm going to place my tape around this spot and measure my 8 inches. So it will be around this position. So I'm going to curve it down to this spot. So I'm going to go up from this position by about 2 inches. Then I'm going to curve it this way like this. Curve it like this and connect it to this position like this. I'm going to determine the midpoint of the lap from this position. So we're working with 8 inches for the lap. So I'm going to mark my 4 inches from this position like this. I'm going to determine our knee position. So how I determine the knee position is the trouser length divided by 2. So we're working with a trouser length of 25 inches. So 25 inches divided by 2, that will give us 12.5. I'm going to place my tape at the top part here and mark my 12.5 inches. That will be around this position. I'm going to get the midpoint. You know, I got the midpoint of this lap position. The lap is 8 inches, so this is our 4-inch mark. I'm going to place my 4-inch mark around this knee position too. We're working with a knee of 12 inches. So that 12 inches divided by 2, that will give us 6 inches. So that 6 inches, I'm going to place 3 inches at this exact midpoint here. Then I'm going to mark my 1 inch. I'm going to start the marking from here. Then I'm going to place my 6 inches from here. From this position now, I'm going to curve it down to this position like this. This marking here, I'm going to curve it down to the lap position here. So now that same 4-inch mark, I'm going to take it in from here so that I'll get the same midpoint here. So we're working with an ankle of 10 inches. So 10 divided by 2, that will give us 5 inches. The middle of that 5 is 2.5. So I'm going to place this 2.5 inch around this mark. Then I'm going to mark my 5 inches. Mark it here. Then take it here. Mark 5 inches. Then I'm going to take a straight line from this position and connect it down to this position. I'm going to take a straight line from this same position and connect it down to this position. So now I'm going to cut. Okay, so now I've cut the front piece, I've placed it on the fabric. So now we're about to cut the back piece of the trouser. So now the first thing we're going to do now, I'm going to go out at 1.5 inches. I'm going to place my mark. Then I'm going to draw a straight line. I'm going to take this line down by 1/2 inch. Take it down by 1/2 inch. Then I'm going to curve it down like this. Okay, so now from this position now, I'm going to go in from here by 1.5 inch. So I'm going to place my marking around here. From this down part, I'm going to take out 1 inch, 1 inch, 1 inch. Then I'm going to connect this marking I did here, connect it down to this my 1 inch mark. Then I'm still going to take my 1 inch and mark it all around, mark it. So now I'm going to place my tape to know the exact measurement from this waist area. This 6.5 inches. Then from this 1.5 inch that I took in, I'm going to place the tape from this 1.5 inch. Then I'm going to add 1 inch to that 6.5 inches. That will give us 7.5. Then I'm going to use my chalk and mark. So I'm going to draw a straight line from this position and connect it to that 7.5 mark. Then I'm going to connect this marking and connect it to this curve here. So with this a slightly curved line, I'm going to connect it down to this spot. Then I'm going to mark this spot here, and I'm going to connect this line. Now I'm going to connect it and join it with this 1.5 inch that I took in from here. This will give the curve of the back. The back is slightly more curved than the front. Then I'm going to cut. Please like, share and subscribe to our YouTube channel Uyasi. Our online classes will be coming up very soon. Stay updated on the channel and I'll give you more information about the online class. I made a video on how to cut a senator top and trouser for an adult. If you want to watch that video, click on this link. See you in my next video.